Welcome back to the Zealous Podcast. I'm Rocky Snyder. This week I've got Juan Carlos, or JC, Santana in the house. He's the CEO, founder of Institute of Human Performance in Florida. He's also a fellow Perform Better presenter. He's been doing it for more years than I have. And before we get started, if you're looking for a Master's of Science degree in perhaps applied sports biomechanics and movement science, then go to Santana College. They also have programs in applied sport and exercise psychology, performance coaching, and sports injuries and return to performance management. SantanaCollege.com. Put in the code RS10, RS10 for 10% off tuition today. Now, if you're looking for continuing education, go to my website, RockySnyder.com. We've got a whole bunch of CEU online courses and free courses you can take, as well as we've got an in-person course coming up November 3rd in Santa Cruz County. It's all about basically soft tissue mobilization based on an individual's structural alignment or posture, and how can we restore things just simply by using a foam roller. Follow us on Instagram at Rocky_Snyder and enjoy the show. At our advanced age, memory may not be my strong suit. So anyway, yeah, the NSCA conferences at that time, of course, I was just a dried sponge. I would soak up anything that came my way. And of course, jumping into plyometrics, Don Chu's stuff was just in the limelight at that time. Garhammer, Bergner.
Garhammer did a presentation on his PhD dissertation on the power of Olympic weightlifting versus a
yeah, those were the days. That's something else. Well, cool. I could have a conversation that, as you can imagine, we can talk about anything and everything. I think what would be really cool is I had these two young physical therapists on a couple of years ago, and cute as buttons. And they called me an OG, and it shows how much out of the loop I am with kind of social nicknames and initials. I thought they were calling me an old guy, but OG is original guy. And I'm going,
original gangster. It's what
original gangster. Oh, there we go.
Original gangster was, like comes from the rappers, the old rappers. They were the original gangsters.
Perfect. So from one OG to another, I think that would be kind of cool. We could talk about the growth of the industry and how the functional fitness emerged, where it splintered off and became maybe bastardized into stupid human tricks on David Letterman's show, and then how it settled back into actual function or whatever. I don't care. We can go anywhere you want. But you've got a lot of things that we can talk about in terms of presentations, products, things that you've created. What do you want to do?
I'm not real marketing kind of guy, so my son would kill me for not knowing what social media to send you to. But these are exciting times because look, I'm 60. I just turned 65, and of course, you can retire at 62 if you want to. And I'm going. Number one, I'm not going to tell you that I can retire financially because I'm not where I need to be in order to say I'm not going to work anymore. Okay, so let's start with the no bullshit right now.
Yeah,
fitness is not a money industry. The gym is the lifestyle. Owning the real estate the gym is on, there's your retirement.
Oh, good point.
So let's start with that. Nobody here is going to become even independently wealthy, millionaire, or nowhere near doing fitness, being a personal trainer, and even owning a gym if you're leasing.
Yeah, that's the Ray Kroc approach, right? This is Ray Kroc didn't sell burgers. He invested in real estate.
Yes. Yeah, in Lifetime. Their model is always buy the real estate. The big Lifetime gyms, they own the real estate. They might have leased one or two of the last. The model may be changing a little bit because they did something really weird down in South Florida here, near the University of Miami. Made it almost like a hotel leasing dorm gym space. It's a really cool idea, but they might have done something different. Bottom line is that for the longest time, for the first 20 years that I knew about Lifetime and actually worked with them, they owned the real estate. So that's how they approach their thing. So let's start with that.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay, so, you know, what is it that we do? You know, why am I still doing this? And, you know,
Hope giver?
when you get to
Are you
like
a provider of hope or what? What's your answer to that?
me, I'm convinced now of what personal trainers do. And it's not training. You know, we're more Vince Lombardis than we are technicians.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't understand that. So we learn exercise physiology, and 90% of everything you see at the NSCA, the ACSM, IDEA, old TSI, whatever, okay? It's all technical, biomechanics, proprioception, functional training, techniques, progression, regression. It's like, that's not what we do. That is so not what we do. That is so over, it's like strength. It's where we're exercise science and what we learn in school and what we learn in 90% of or 95% of all of the seminars and conferences is the equivalent of having or trying to develop a 600-pound squat for the average pro athlete that doesn't need anywhere near that.
Sure.
And if you look at the elite in any sport, they're usually very poor performers in gyms. They don't have the insertion, the origin, the biomechanics, the genetic CNS, central nervous system, and everything that entails, from the neuromuscular to the neuroendocrine, and everything that genetics dictates how you recruit and how you exert force. They don't have that. That's why they're basketball players. If they had that, they would be power lifters and broke. So they're not power lifters. They're not Olympic lifters, okay? And they're millionaires because the skill and the genetic, let's put it, package that they have is for basketball, baseball, tennis, golf. So nobody that can make $20 million is going to up for I think I'll make $30,000 a year and do powerlifting and hurt every day and tear my body up and surely develop some kind of arthritis or, you know, some kind of mechanical wear and tear that will most likely force me to get another joint replaced. Okay.
Sure.
So it's the same thing. We overkill the biomechanics, the exercise science so much that most of these people that are high technicians are terrible trainers, because Vince Lombardi didn't know football. His linemen coordinators, his offensive line coordinators, defensive line coordinators, secondary coaches, those guys knew football. But Vince Lombardi knew how to lead men. And that's why he could change the game inside of 20 minutes in the locker room without mentioning anything about football. So what we do is that. The rest you can do with push-ups and squats and lunges and pull-ups and recline pulls and, you know, 101 exercises. You don't even need to get into the complicated stuff.
No, that's what YouTube is for.
Yeah. That's like, whatever you're not going to use, put on YouTube.
There you go.
And that'll impress people, you know, because if you can't impress them with knowledge, baffle them with bullshit. So let's go. Social media, here we go. And so,
well, it's interesting you bring that up because presenting at Perform Better this year, one of my lectures was the X factor. And it's not about exercise and eating right. It's the other stuff that we bring into training with our clients and athletes. It's the mental, emotional, spiritual. It's the coaching aspects. It's getting them to unlock or unblock the detours that they keep putting up in their lives that prevent them from getting to where they want to be.
You are absolutely 100% correct, yet we don't have a name for it. We don't have a system for it. We don't have a teaching progression. We certainly don't have classes. How are we going to have classes and courses if we can't even define it? We all can't come up with one word. Okay, one word. Is it comprised of what? It's comprised of 3 things, 4 things, 5 things, 2 things? How many things?
And well, in the sports world, they're using mental performance or mental skills coaching or something along that line. Yeah. But it's more than that.
Sports psychology.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do those people do?
Yeah.
They make people better without ever training them. So what is that about? So they're doing something. For crying out loud, priests change people. They go into church and they come out different. Sometimes when you're really bothered with life, whatever it is that is bothering you, with somebody died, or you're overcoming a depression, or you're overcoming some type of abusive relationship or drug abuse, you go talk to a wise person, let's say a clergyman, and you come out different. What's the difference between him and a psychologist? What do they use? What techniques do they use? And what process is taking place? What is the mechanism of action of change? So when you start to think like that, this is never going to get old. And all of a sudden, personal training, coaching, performance, whatever, it's not a young man's sport. It can't be. It can't be a young man's sport.
No, because experientially, they don't have enough
to
be as effective. And now there's going to be aberrations, right? There's going to be some wunderkind out there that can somehow tap into it. But what you're saying is along the bell shape.
You know, you always have the outliers one way or another. Sure. The person who's never going to have it, and the person who was born with it at the age 5 can put his hands on you and create a placebo effect. But we're looking at the 0.0005 on each side of the bell-shaped curve.
Yeah.
So most of us fall somewhere in the belly of the bell-shaped curve, right? So
yeah, and you need to go through the life of experience in order to share it. Yeah.
The price for the 30,000-foot view is time. Age. Sorry, you can't get to 30,000 feet at 25 normally. You saw it, or 30. And if you have abs, chances are you're so young that you're not at the 30,000. There's a price to pay.
Yeah.
For the life that you need to live. And then you have to have the skill set, whether it's innate, which it has to be, a certain amount has to be innate. And then through time and delivery, you can learn how to deliver that view. How to deliver that view and how to deliver it to different people under different circumstances. So we look at what we are doing as coaches and personal trainers. You go, man, this is something I can do till I die. Age will not prohibit me, and good joints are not necessary. So I got 2 artificial hips and a bum knee. There's no problem, because what I do doesn't require me to jump 24 inches vertical or 36 or bench press 300 at all. Not one little bit. Look at the Hall of Famers. They didn't do what they coached that well.
Mm-hmm.
And
good point.
The epitome of this, because well, if you haven't lived it, how can you coach it? No, wait a minute. How can you coach it if you've lived it? If you lived it, you were too busy living it. And when you live in it, you look at it from a myopic standpoint. Say a fighter. If a fighter spends from the time he's 10 years old, 15 years old, to the time he's 35, becoming 5-time world champion, everything that is required for that, going to the karate classes, then going into the karate competitions, then going into kickboxing competitions, then, oh, well, wait a minute, MMA competition, entering the UFC, blah, 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 blah. By the time you win your first world title, you're 29, 30, and then you spend the last 5 years banging, bang, 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 until they retire your ass. Okay. Take another person who wasn't that gifted. And at 15, 14, too many shin splints, too many injuries, and just got their asses kicked. Well, that person started coaching. Come 35, the 5-time world champion hasn't coached one. He's seen everything that he's seen through the prism of his own bias, his own body, diets for his own body, training for his own body type, strength training for his own body type, technique, acquisition, and strategy implementation through his own strengths and weaknesses. He doesn't know what it is to talk to different athletes, to look at things from a different standpoint. Yet this guy, that because he wasn't an elite athlete or even a good one, but loved the sport, started studying and helping at 20. By the time they're 35, the 5-time world champion has 0 coaching experience, and the other one has 15 years of coaching experience. You tell me, how the hell are you going to be a great coach if you were a 5-time world champion? It's
no, really good point. No, I'm thinking of as you speak, I'm just names are coming into my head. John Wooden, UCLA basketball.
Yeah, yeah.
Al Vermeil, we mentioned before we got underway with the recording here, but with the White Sox, with the Bulls, with the Niners, I mean, he'll tell you right up front that he'd rather coach high school, but there's some elements to, and he doesn't take a lot of credit for the championships or anything because he's a very humble guy, but he'll tell you that it wasn't really me, but there was an ingredient there. Gus D'Amato, Mike Tyson's coach, right? There's just so many
Lou
names that are
Duva,
coming into play.
Angelo
Right?
Dundee, and the
Yeah.
and the list keeps coming up. You know, look at the NBA. Show me one All-Star NBA that has become a Hall of Famer coach. You might have
Okay. One, Steve Kerr.
Okay. You might have one.
But not many others. No, I can't name too many.
Okay, so if you have 2,000 and you have one out of 2,000, what's the percentage?
Yeah, it's not high. Doc Rivers, maybe another one. But yeah, most of them, no.
Okay, here's the epitome of the epitome. The greatest female gymnastics coach ever was Bella Lugosi.
Bella Caroli. Yeah.
Bella Caroli, and he was a man and never did gymnastics. He's like 6'2".
Yeah, and he had all the Olympians from Mary Lou Retton to
Nadia
Olga
Comaneci,
and
right?
Nadia. Yeah, exactly.
Olga Corbett.
Yeah.
So
all right, we're dating ourselves, but I hear you.
But you know what I'm saying? Never
do.
did gymnastics, and he's a man. So the notion that you have to be in it, no, you have to be on it. You have to be on it. You can't be in it. If you're in it, you're not on it. You're not from here. If you're in it, you're at the ground level. You're taking fire. But if you're here at the 30,000, if you're on the thing from up top, then you see everything. So we're now, because my body won't do anymore. You know, I mean, I'm still okay, strong in fitness. For a guy my age, I'm holding my own, and then somebody else's, you know, but nothing compared to national champions. And if God would have given me the ability at 65 to have perfect joints and all that, I would be doing something stupid like trying to be the oldest fighter in the UFC. So God knows who I am. He says, you know what? I'm going to wreck this guy early so he knows his place and doesn't get stupid on me. Because if I give him good joints and I give him good, he's going to do something stupid. So you know what? Sit his ass down. And thank God he did, because I would have been doing something stupid. You know? So
yeah.
At our age, coaching is the best thing. Maybe between what you're doing and what people our age are doing and the realizations that we have, maybe we'll come up, there'll be a book, or there'll be a consensus on what coaching is for personal trainers or for coaches, and maybe a sequential process by which to learn certain things, apply certain things, have some exercises that are global that anybody can use. And we're going to pull from the sales world, because in order to coach, you have to do two things very well. You have to inspire and you have to motivate. Okay, so what are those things? Broken down simple. I need single words, you know, that I can grab, and I'm going, okay, I get the concept. And for me, inspiration is the picture. Can you paint the picture? Because that's the ignition. That's the inspiration is like, that's the gas. And even, all right, baby, all right, you know. Okay, how are you going to say baby, all right? Are you going to scream it? Are you going to whisper it? Is there going to be some physical contact? Or is there going to be animation? How? For who? You know, because you can't.
Or will it be nonverbal?
Yes, right. You can't. I'm not the slappable guy, because then that pisses me off and that deters me from, that doesn't inspire me. That gets me pissed off at you, and I forget about what I'm there to do.
So how do you think some of the world's greatest coaches, trainers, however you want to say it, discern this is the avenue I need to take with this individual? This is the approach I need to take. How do you, it's experiential, I know, yes. But what can you put out some landmarks? Like, do you have any ideas?
They've seen enough personalities to know what ignites each personality. For example, if you've been around enough as a little kid, you know how to deal with bullies. You can recognize a bully and you know how straightly how to deal with one. And it's counterintuitive. So you got to go to the bully and punch him right in the mouth for no reason at all. So we can get this over and done with. I'm not a prey. I'm not a prey item, and I'm not an easy fix. And I'm as crazy as you are. You know, so I always say, if you ever go to prison, find the baddest dude, just go up to him and get it over and done early, and get the respect of everybody else. That's bully stuff. Okay, how do you deal with somebody who's easily intimidated but very skilled and can get into their own head? You can't go up to them and slap the shit out of them because you'll destroy them. So, but you've been around. How did you get around? You followed a coach. You followed a Vince Lombardi. You carried spit bucket for Angelo Dundee. And you go, oh, look, when he coached Muhammad Ali, who's very cerebral, he coached them different. He whispered. I took a lot of my cornering from Angelo Dundee, the way I look at my fighters for my glasses, and even the way I give the bottle, you know, placing the bottle on top of this hand, things like that you pick up, and you go, God, Jesus, where did I pick that up from? Oh. So you learn by modeling, by seeing your guru, your predecessors. Oh, look how they talk to them. Oh, he slapped this guy in the ass. Oh, he put his arm gently around this guy. He whispered to this guy. He screamed at this guy. And then you start recognizing the guys. When that guy pops around, all of a sudden you'll whisper to him too. And if you get good results, you go, okay, I guessed it right. Let me see if I can guess who I have to slap. And you know, you might slap the right guy, you might slap the wrong guy. How do you know you slapped the wrong guy? Slapping the wrong guy. You're not going to get around it. You got to make the mistake. How do you hit bullseye? You got to miss so you can make the adjustment. And the missing is where the lesson is. If I miss low right, you adjust high left. Boom, done. So that's kind of how you learn. But I don't know. Number one, personal training, especially personal training, which is kind of where I'm at. Although most of what I do is strength coaching, but it's the same shit, because if you take a person that through the personal training environment, they pay for sessions instead of teams, and you're getting them stronger. Okay, you're a strength coach. You're just a strength coach, maybe for non-athletes. So we call that personal training, whatever. See, so we don't even have the right titles yet. And we separate things that are not separable.
Yeah.
You know? That's why when I said a long time ago, when we were coming up with the personal training exam for the CPT, and Meg Stone and Mike Stone were they didn't like personal trainers coming into to the NSCA.
Well, that was obvious.
Remember back in the day?
Yeah.
And I told them, I said, you know, I'm a personal trainer. Half of what I do is athletics, from judo to football to track and field. I'm track and field. I teach Olympic weightlifting. I have a club in Florida. The second biggest club next to Mike Bergner was mine. So we have competitions. I teach senior level 1 and level 2, senior level. So what am I, a personal trainer? So be very careful. Who comes here? 500 personal strength coaches, and how many personal trainers? Back in the day when we used to get 2,500 people to the conference, I said, we got 1,500 personal trainers here. So who drives this organization? Personal
Still to this day.
I said,
65% of the members are personal trainers.
Because we need to learn. If we don't learn, we get hit in the pocket.
Yeah.
A coach's salary, win or lose, he usually has a job. Unless you're awful and the thing is highly competitive, then they'll move you out quick. But if
the professors are tenured.
Yeah, if you're high school, if you're high school and you're tenured as a math teacher and you just happen to coach, forget it. You would have to rape somebody to get fired. You know?
Right.
So, yeah. So yeah, this is an old man sport. I'm in it to win it for the longest time. I understand now that gyms are not gyms, they're churches. They're churches.
Oh, that's well said. Yeah.
We have a church, and everybody refers to it as the church. Because show me a church, everything that goes on in a church, and I'll show you the same process in my gym and a good gym, any gym.
Give me an example. What do you mean?
Okay, everybody knows the schedule of the church. You don't show up to the church at 1 a.m. because why? They have mass schedule. So you know, and they have rituals, right? So you know when to show up for what. Got it? So we have hours. 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday through Friday, Saturday, blah, 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 blah. So we have a time. Okay. When you come in, you have rituals. You don't come in loud. You don't come in, you can't curse. You have rules of engagement. Okay. And they're almost unspoken. They're almost, it's not like you have rules on the church. Please, no profanity. Don't spit on the floor. Be quiet. Be courteous. Stand up when they stand you to stand up and kneel when they ask you to pray. They don't have those rules. The people in the culture, in the church, by their actions, set the rules. And everybody that comes in, they just look at everybody and you do what they're doing.
Do you think that that has been lost a little bit because of, I'm not going to say because of pandemic, but because of partly technology? Like right now, I've got my AirPods in my ears, and it's these things, these little buddies that I see in most big gyms now, that people go into the church and they are so disconnected from everyone else.
100, we've lost that. Not a little bit. No. 100. And that's why gyms fail. Because we've made it about entertainment and we've made it about exercise. And that was never about exercise. Exercise was a product. And yes, we exchanged the poses and we compared bodies, and that became bodybuilding and all that. But if you went to the gym in the 70s, like I did when I started in 73, 74, the workouts were never an hour. When you went to the gym, it was 2 to 3 hours. Because you would talk, you would pump up and talk shit. That was your social hour. And everybody who got there, I remember I was at Brody's gym down in Miami, North River Drive. Brody was a bomb squad chief, and he was a police officer, obviously, law enforcement. So we had FBI, we had detectives there, but we also, being north of the river, we also had wise guys. Your normal run-of-the-mill athletes like me, and then the guys who were up to no good. And when they went to Brody's gym, there was a truce. You know who I am. You see my badge right there, right? And I know what you do. So I need you to help me with this set. And I'll help you with yours, but don't let me catch you outside, because then you know what's going to go down. And they had that truce. And I saw people get along and talk. And you learn how to talk to older cats. And we would talk about everything, Jesus, about things that you didn't want to talk about. Crazy. I mean, crazy. You talk about sexual conversations. You would talk about crime, who committed what crime, how to get away with certain crime, how the police caught certain people. You talked about girls, who was dating what, who was good, because there was no girls in gyms back at that time. Not until Vic Tanny rolled around.
Oh, there's a name I hadn't heard in a while.
Vic Tanny was the first co-ed, nice, plush. Our terrazzo floors turned into carpet. Our rusted weights turned into chrome. And our walls turned into mirrors. And then the big box Bally's came along. The Coliseum came along with 13 racquetball courts, 3 basketball courts, the big $700 a year thing. And those had bars and had restaurants and had lounge. Oh, yeah. And people would go there at 4 o'clock and come out at midnight. Some were open 24/7.
Yeah, I remember one of the clubs that I first came into. This was 91 or so, but you could get a steak and a nice glass of beer right outside the racquetball, and you could take that beer into the hot tub with you. It was just like it was a social scene more than anything else. They had a place called Nippers here, and they had like a Bally's attached. Nippers was basically the lobby, and you could get drinks 24/7. I owned the bar, and after we closed the bar, we would go either to drink or we would go and work out and then eat at 4 o'clock in the morning. So we went through that, but that was the social hour, surrounded with weights, with like-minded men. Even if you were on the law side or the not so law side, and no matter what your education was,
You know, George Navarrete, Mr. America, worked out with, he was my buddy. And he was 20 some odd years old when I was 15. Okay, he's commissioner now. And George Prince, Southeastern United States, was there. He passed away. And so we had elite bodybuilders that were in that mix. So that
the social disconnect that we're encountering now is one of the main factors in the fact that we're losing the war on obesity.
No,
No?
I think it's dependent. I think we're losing the character of society because of technology and social media. We're losing the character of society, of the community. The community is no longer a culture. It's a potpourri of shit.
Mm.
There's no like-mindedness anymore except narcissism. That's the only like-minded characteristic of today's, especially social media society. So when people come to IHP, they love it. And they always say about the energy. Man, this place has such good energy. And they pay me great compliments. It comes from the top. And it does come from the top because I'm very, very flawed, but I recognize the importance of character and principles. And I try to live by them. As they say, I don't know if God exists, but I try to live as if he does. You know, and
Yeah.
I make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, but I admit them, I apologize, and I try to evolve and change. And that's all I want to ask of people. That's all. And so that's the feel for IHP. And we have Republicans and Democrats that can actually talk to each other.
Wow.
Last night, one of my dearest friends and client of IHP, Richie, did he's a musician and a great producer. And he says, hey man, I'm producing a 70s disco show. Imagine that. 70s disco show at the Black Box. I would love for you to personally invite you to be there. So I want to support him. I want to buy tickets. I want to spend money and I want to go there and be at the front and so I can witness his art. He's a Democrat through and through. And we have the best conversations and end up hugging all the time. That's IHP. That's IHP. Men and women talk, old and young and talk, black and white talk, fighters and non-fighters talk, golfers and fighters chat. And you'll see them sometimes sitting, talking about or sharing some kind of website that's they have in common for food or a restaurant or something like that.
Well, my place, RFC, sounds like the West Coast satellite of the Institute of Human Performance, your place there.
Because you were probably brought up the same way. And you value the same things.
Community.
You know, the epitome of what we're talking about. I was working out with my buddy the other day, and through the mirror, I see Ardit come and hug Gandhi. Gandhi is my senior trainer, and Ardit is another trainer of ours. Great kids. Well, it so happens that Gandhi is a black, real strict Jewish young man. I mean, he honors the Sabbath. He doesn't work on Saturday. He's Jewish down the line. His father is the minister. He's from Haiti. Okay. Now dig this. Ardit is a Muslim. How do you like that?
Wow.
How do you like that?
Nice.
And they're hugging each other like nothing. Like I don't know, two mortal enemies, like a tiger and a chicken. Yeah. Like the tiger giving a chicken a ride and the chicken pecking the tiger's fleas off, like that. It's and I'm going, I told my partner, I said, this is one of my proudest moments. Creating this environment where this happens organically and all day, every day. I said, you gotta kill me to get me out of here. You're gonna take me out of here in a box. How old are you? How old do you have to be to not be able to go to church anymore? Exactly. You know, how old do you have to retire if you're a priest?
I don't think there's an age limit there.
Exactly. So strength coaching in a environment such as your gym or mine is a call of duty, man. It's a life duty. It's a life career.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up because that's what I want to kind of echo. That sentiment of being a life career is something that I don't think enough people hear. I think the role of personal trainer for many is thought to be kind of a stepping stone position or career on to becoming an athletic trainer, a physical therapist, a chiropractor, or just doing it until you get a real job, quote unquote. And I guess it's really comforting, it's refreshing to speak with somebody who has been in the business as long, if not longer, than I've been. Between the two of us, there's over 60 years between the two of us of doing what we're doing. And I know there's others out there. It's just not as common as I would like it to be. So what kind of message that you're continually already doing, but what further kind of point would you like to affirm for the listening audience that is unsure if this is actually a lifelong career?
Well, you know, engineering is not for everybody. Medicine is not for everybody. Sales is not for everybody. All right, so let's pull back and say, okay, on your deathbed, what do you want to say? What do you want to happen, or what do you want said about you? Do you want to accumulate a lot of cool stuff, like Elon Musk? You can't tell me that dude ain't killing it. He's crushing it. Okay. He also tells you, you don't want to be me. I'm a prisoner to my mind. My mind never stops. And you can see that he's operating logically and scientifically and creatively at such a level that it's almost painful for him. It's almost he can't, it's almost like he can't get out, but he can't stay in there at that intensity. I mean, that's gotta be, he says it's treacherous. You don't want to be me.
Hmm.
Okay. So what do you want said about you? And I look, nobody is going to say, he had beautiful cars or he had a shredded body. Everybody's going to talk about how you made them feel. So is it fair to say that when you die, you would like to feel that you've impacted as many people as possible in the most positive way? Would that be something noble and something you could wrap your head around before you choose a profession? Okay, great. Then if that's the case, then you have to live by that. Even if you're a sales guy, even if you're a scientist, if you want to impact everybody that you meet should know they met you. Should maybe at night say, I met the nicest person today. Should try to have that impact. Try to have that impact every day. It's hard. And some days you don't sleep well. Some days you don't feel good. Some days you're pissed off because something happened. Somebody did something. It's fine. It's fine. You're not going to be perfect every day, but it's how you come back from that builds your character. It's how you come back from that knowing that I'm just going through a bitchy period. Like right now, I'm going through a bitchy period. I had a couple of days where I couldn't sleep well and everything was going great. I hated everybody. And I recognize it. It's like, you're going through you're menstruating, bro. You're menstruating. Just chill. Nothing good lasts forever. Nothing bad either. So this shit shall pass. Boom. And if that's the case, you go, okay, I'm going to choose a profession that I think I'm well suited for and that I love, absolutely love. Because if you love it, you'll find a way to make it happen, to make enough money where you live. Okay? Knowing that if you're like me, there's never going to be enough money to do everything because, and even when you have enough money, those people seem to never have enough money. Because the next thing is, I'm going to make an extra $100 million. Like, bro, I would have stopped about 80 million ago. It's like, so if you want to do that, then say, okay, what industry would allow me to touch people in the most positive way and impact people in the most positive way? And not that you have to choose it, but which one is it? And I dare you find one better. Because if you look at hours of contact, safety, and benefits, there's nothing that's going to outdo the personal training field or the coaching field if you put them all together. Okay? We impact more lives in a positive manner than engineering, than medicine, than anything else. I'm not saying that we save life like medicines. I'm not saying that we combat diseases like medicine. What I'm saying is, do we improve people's lives? The environment that the message that we carry, which is live responsibly. Forget about fitness. Being fit and being healthy is responsible. You can't be irresponsible and be fit and healthy. So by virtue of being fit and healthy, and that's the message, there's a lot of bad things that are already out of the picture. So if you choose this, note that you're in a very, very noble business. You have the opportunity to positively impact lives, change families. I told my trainers, we don't train, we help parents raise their children. I said, you will, these 22-year-olds that haven't started yet. I said, you will have parents want to pay you $125 to be an advocate, a third-party endorsement for the principles that they're trying to instill at home. But the kids look at the parents like, you're too old and outdated. You don't know anything, especially when they get into that teenage years where parents stop being heroes. Okay, we start being outdated.
You said something so profound, so powerful that I can't let it go. And you said we help parents raise their children, but everyone is a child. Everyone has parents, no matter what age you are. I mean, that was beautiful, because I could have a 70-year-old client and I could still be helping that person's parents raise them. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't stop. So,
No.
and of course, the listener might be thinking of somebody in their young teens and 20s, but honestly, if you put that sentiment to your 55-year-old client that you're helping that person's parents raise them, it just changes your mindset. I love that.
Well, think about this. The 50 and 60-year-old, because I'm 65.
Yeah, I'm not far.
My mom is 91, turned 91 in June. And yesterday was my day with her, which is every Sunday. We have a date, at least one date a week. That is her date and my date. And yesterday was nails, toes, and Greek food. Okay. Nice. I'm raising her now. Mm-hmm. And when I'll probably get sentimental, but when she hugged me at the end, she goes, I don't have enough to repay you. Mama, you paid it ahead of time. You've been paying it for 65 years. I said, you're going to die and I'm going to come up short. I will never have enough to pay you for what you put into me. But she says, I can never repay you. So at 65, why can I do that in part? In part because I've stayed fit, I've stayed healthy, I've stayed responsible. I know my responsibility. And there's nothing better than a fit and healthy lifestyle to keep you accountable to sometimes boring shit and to doing things you don't want to do, and to stay away from things that are fun and daring. And you have to stay the course. What other lifestyle invokes that in the most organic way? When you go to a gym, what are they selling drugs? No. Are they drinking? No. Are they staying out? Like, everybody there is trying to be at least fit, look a certain way. Even the people that are going to go party, they're partying less. If not, they wouldn't be in the gym. Right? How many drug dealers are in gyms? Not too many. Not too many. I'm sure some, but not too many. So the whole gym environment is this positive cauldron of principles. What principles? This shit. Responsibility, delayed gratification, okay?
Brotherly love.
Determination, yes. Mm-hmm. Social, okay? Social acumens. Learn how to talk. Learn in my place, if you don't put shit back, I start hollering. And if it was you, you'll know that I knew it was you. I didn't pull you out, but I hollered. I said, really, folks, we're gonna leave a machine like this. Come on now, and I'll put it away. But I'll do it loud where 30 people within the vicinity will know that I'm upset.
Mhm.
And I teach that. My meeting this morning, I said, what do we do with the trainers? I said, stop teaching them to train, damn it. We have the best training system. It's push-ups and squats at the end of the day anyways. Okay? It's pull-ups, push-ups, squats, go. Running, get in shape, do. Okay, yes, we have $300,000 worth of equipment. We have the latest. We have these undulating periodization programs that we've developed, the hybrid function. We got the shit, but it's done. It's done. It's the tools are there. It's the hammers, all the hammers you want, all the screwdrivers you want, all the calipers you want. Done. I go, teach them, okay, like you're raising a younger brother or sister. Stay on them. The call has to be, what are you doing for your career? Not what are you doing to sell? Not what are you doing to make more money? No. What are you doing for your career? Are you picking up the piece of paper? Because everybody knows what the piece of paper is. Pick up the piece of paper means do the right thing when nobody's looking. That little piece of paper, and I tell them, when I go in the bathroom, and sometimes I'll leave a piece of paper in front of the sink or by the urinal, and I'll come back 4 hours to see if it's still there. Now, I know all you used the bathroom and it was still there. Either you're not aware of your surroundings, which is an issue, because you'll never be elite if you're not aware of your surroundings, or you looked at it, said, nobody's looking, I'm in a hurry, or I'm beyond that, and you walked over the piece of paper. I go, if you think that piece of paper stays here and Carlos didn't find out, and so it's all good, I said, that piece of paper is your life. I said, that's the apology you don't make. That's the resume you don't turn in. That's the assignment you don't do. That's the extra rep you don't do. That's the I love you that you should have said. Now, you think you're going to walk over that piece of paper and you're going to get away with it? I go, that piece of paper, walking that piece of paper is the way you live your life. Pick up the piece of paper here and everywhere else. And that's the theme in IHP. Pick up the piece of paper.
I love that. Okay. Shifting, that is beautiful. And it's so funny because I have that same kind of thought pattern that we have here. It seems to be universal. 15 years ago, I'm going to say, it might have been, yeah, it was more than 10 years ago. You gave a very powerful presentation. And this happened to be, again, at a Perform Better Summit. But it was unlike anything you had given up until that point. It's unlike anything I've heard since. And it came from the heart, not to say that your other presentations didn't, but this one really penetrated my being. And it was your honest and humble experience with burnout, with like your mental state of just getting through a very hard time. Do you recall this presentation by chance?
That was the tour for the midlife transformation.
Dude,
That was
I gotta tell you,
2006.
2006. It's been that long, 18 years. I mean,
Is that how long it is?
Yeah,
2006.
2006,
Yeah.
18 years ago. And you shared about your mental state, your experience, and how you were just kind of I don't want to put words in your mouth, but kind of like falling to pieces, and how you had to pick up all those pieces and continue on. I think that's something that was you talk about the technical side of conferences and everything else, but when you listen to things like that, man, here we are 18 years later and still talking about it.
Dude, I mean, we're so sometimes we learned the wrong things, man, and not by any evil means. For example, spoil your children, give them everything you didn't have. That's the worst thing you could do, because it's what you didn't have who made you who you are.
There you go.
And it's like, duh. So why would you buy a Mercedes to your 16-year-old? For your 16-year-old, I see it here in Boca Raton all the time.
Sure.
You just ruin that. How the hell is he going to ever value a car again when his first car is a Volvo, an Audi, a Beamer? And you see this shit all the time here, bro. All the time. How is this kid going to learn principles. How's he going to learn hard work? How's he going to learn sacrifice? How's he going to learn delayed gratification? All the things that make you a solid human being. So we learn that. That's the wrong approach, right? We learn many other lessons, many other terrible lessons. Don't lie. Really? Have you seen the movie Liar Liar?
I love that movie.
I love it too. But that's what happens if you don't lie. Because sometimes you have to lie to inspire and motivate.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're
Oh, that's edgy. I love it.
You have to lie. You got this. Bro, what are you gonna do? Bro, you're getting your ass kicked. It doesn't look good. Bro, why don't you throw some Hail Mary punches and see if you can get this guy? Because if not, he's gonna fucking kill you. Who says that? Who says that? It's you got this. You got this. It is at moments like this that heroes are made of. Do it for the you lie. You're lying. Now you may believe it, but you're lying. You are lying through your teeth. What's Santa Claus? We're gonna wake up tomorrow and Santa Claus is gonna be here. What's hey, leave your tooth under your pillow, okay? Because the tooth fairy is gonna come in. What is all that? What's Easter Bunny? Right, lies, and more lies. So is lying good? Well, I don't know. Is killing somebody good? Well, if that is what separates you and your family from living for another day or falling prey to a person who just invaded your house with bad intentions on meth and with a gun, then unfortunately, killing somebody is the right thing to do. So it's all of that. So you have to analyze the reality of what's in front of you so you can start seeing things really objectively, really objective. And we don't have that in politics, do we? Because if you're on that,
absolutes.
You're crazy. If I'm on this camp, I'm evil. So, it's like,
yeah.
It's like you hear that, well, what do you think about so-and-so's comment about this, that, and the other? It's like, comment? Yeah. Show me. Have you ever not made a stupid comment? Yeah. I think the comment is stupid and I'm still voting for him or her. And because why? Because I don't hear words. I observe policies. Now, would you like to talk about policies that are edged on facts? This person had this policy, and wouldn't you know, during this time, this and this and this happened. Can't argue that. But you can argue about how you feel about this person calling that a name, this person a name, and we get caught up on bullshit. Bullshit. Lying and telling the truth and all that. You got to be a good person. And sometimes you need to lie to protect the innocent. Sometimes you need to lie to preserve friendship. Honey, does this dress make my ass look fat? Go ahead, say the truth. I want to see what happens. I want to see how dinner's going to turn out. No, honey, no. You're voluptuous, baby. That thing makes you look on. I love it. Come over here. Now we're going to have a good dinner.
Oh, man. I can't believe an hour has flown by.
It's like, do you want the husband answer or do you want the truth?
No. We know
Which
that.
one do you want?
Oh, I've been married 24 years. I am a damn good liar. I'll tell you that.
If you're, be noble.
Timely.
Yeah, be noble. And not to say that you want to lie don't lie to hurt somebody at your own benefit, to your own benefit. Don't lie to hurt somebody. Purposely.
No, come from the heart. No, it's heart-centric, right? It's if you're coming from a place to try and help others. I get you.
You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
A lot of inspiration and motivation is half truths, to say the least.
We're going to have to do a part 2.
This has been, bro. We're just getting warmed up.
I know. That's just it. We haven't even scratched the surface here, and we got to talk more
talking about life. This is beer and peanuts material, brother. Lots of beer and lots of peanuts.
Well, you don't have to worry about what kind of social media links to remember here. I'm just going to find them myself and put them in the description
Good.
underneath this podcast. So anybody can go to the Institute of Human Performance and follow you on all the social media. Are you going to be up in Providence at the end of this month?
Yes, I am, as a matter of fact.
You
Yeah.
are.
I was in Orlando and Chicago last year. And I said, hey, I'll do Orlando again because it doesn't cost you a whole lot for me to get to Orlando. I drive there,
Yeah.
and Chicago's easy. And they said, we don't like to have the same presenters in the same two locations year to year. And that makes sense. I said, then put me in the other two, put me in LA and Providence. So I'm going to be in Providence here in a few weeks.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, we were in Orlando together, but we never connected. But the next time that happens, it's going to be it's definitely going to be a long lunch hour for sure, or something like
Are
that.
you going to be in Providence?
I will not be. I was in Orlando and LA this year, and so probably next year then Providence and Chicago or something like that. That sure would be fun.
Yeah, next year
know.
I will probably be in Orlando, Chicago again.
Beautiful. We'll make it happen.
This
has been great. I can't really thank you. I honestly, I can't thank you enough for having this conversation.
Oh, come on, brother. It's always a pleasure to meet somebody who's been in the trenches, in the field for long, and just kick it back and get another perspective. And if you want, we can do this on a regular, every 45 days, every 60 days. You call me, and it's like, hey, Monday, we're banging. Let's go.
Oh, that sounds good. And that brings this episode of Zealous to a close. I want to thank JC for coming on. We're going to have him back. We're going to do a few sessions because the stuff that we have to share back and forth is pretty valuable. Speaking of valuable, if you want continuing education and you need to maintain your credentials, check out my website. Also, put in your calendar November 3rd in Santa Cruz. Come into our in-person workshop where we'll be learning all about targeting, like target shooting areas of the body with soft tissue action. Myofascial release. You know how it goes. Check out SantanaCollege.com. Again, follow us on Instagram at Rocky_Snyder. And we'll see you next week.